Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's workshop, Digital Skills for Everyday Tasks. In today's workshop, we will examine how Google applications can help you manage your professional and everyday lives, no matter where you are. I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Jessalyn Lamb, co-founder of Asians in Advertising and co-author of The Visibility Mindset, How Asian American Leaders Create Opportunities and Push Past Barriers. I use Google applications for everything, whether it's staying organized, project managing my global nonprofit, using Google Sheets, Docs, Slide, and Gmail, or using Sheets to plan a family vacation while uploading to Google Photos. I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk about the different digital skills that you can use with Google applications. Let's be real. We all know working remotely often means working from home. So let's start with some tips that can make it easier for you to work from home. The first one is keep your routine. If you normally wake up, work out, and shower before work, keep doing that. Maintain regular hours, set a schedule, and try to keep to it. Keeping your routine will help you with a sense of normalcy. The next is to create a dedicated workspace. Find a spot to go to work in your home at the same place every day. If you don't have the luxury of a dedicated office at home, at least go to the same place at a table every day, even if you have to clean it up for dinner time. Don't just bring your laptop to the couch one day, the bed, the recliner the next. And also make sure you have lunch and breaks. Make sure you add those to your schedule on your calendar. It's too easy to work at your desk when you're at home. Don't sit in front of your computer for 8 solid hours. Every hour or so, stand up and walk around to give your body and your eyes a break. And have the tools you need to be productive. Without the supplies of the office, you may not realize that you need something until a few days into working remotely. Think about the supplies that you use in a normal workday. Make a list and make sure you have them as part of your home office. And create a daily to-do list. At the end of the workday, write your to-do list for the next day. That will help you keep from popping back to your computer to do one more little thing that ends up taking another hour. And give your coworkers a bit of grace. If they're working from home too, there may be background noise, dogs barking, interruptions from children and other people. So just roll with it and be flexible. And if those distractions happen to you, don't worry or stress about it. Also give yourself grace. Most important, when your workday is done, close up your computer. Remember, at the end of the day, if you're not at work, don't work. Today, we'll focus on 3 digital skills that can make your everyday life easier, both while working remote and at a traditional office. While you're trying to stay productive at home, it can be even more important to track your to-do list, find ways to collaborate with your team, and keep your organization and business partners updated about the progress you're making. We'll demonstrate several digital skills that can help with those work needs. Our example is planning a company summit, but these skills and applications can apply to a variety of workplace situations. We'll build 3 example projects that demonstrate how to enhance your productivity and make progress on your work now. These projects can help you boost your productivity right away, and if you're a job seeker, the digital skills are what we can highlight and help you prepare to jump right into a new kind of job. Now, let's get started. In today's lesson, we will get you signed into your Google account, accessing your Google Drive, and Google Drive is a free cloud-based tool that allows you to store folders and files, and will show you how to open some very useful Google applications. For this lesson, we'll focus on planning and managing your work using Google Sheets, Google Docs, and Google Slides. The skills we cover today can apply to a variety of work situations. To complete the lesson, we'll take you through planning a virtual event step by step and give you some hints and tips that will make your life easier. In the first half of today's class, we'll focus on accessing Google Drive and making a to-do list in Google Sheets. In the second half of the class, we will dive into creating a meeting agenda in Google Docs and building a status update presentation in Google Slides. Many of you joining us by this workshop may already have an event you're planning right now. Maybe you're hosting a digital video conference through Google Meet, or you might be planning a celebration event at work for later in the year. Today, we'll practice these tools in the context of planning an event, but you can apply these digital skills to many situations in your workplace or personal life. For example, you can use a sheet to create a budget or a job search plan. You can use a Google document to create a resume or cover letter, design a flyer, or brainstorm for a big project. First, we need to access these applications. So let's take this opportunity to sign into your Google account. Signing in is a bit like unlocking the door to your home. It's a process that makes sure that only you can access your Google account. Open a new tab in a browser window and go to google.com. If you're not signed in, click on Sign In, as you can see here on the top right button. The next screen will show the username for you to enter, and then you click on Next. And then you will enter in your password and click on Next again to sign in. Signing in to your Google account allows you to access a lot of Google apps that you can use for work and home. If you don't yet have a Google account, you can set one up for free. You can choose to get a new Gmail email address, or you can use another email address that you already have. Visit accounts.google.com/signup. If your business or employer uses Google Workplace, you can make an email address that doesn't look like a Gmail address, but it's still a Google account. If you aren't sure if your work email is a Google account, check with your team at work. Now let's talk about what you can do with your Google account. So this graphic, it shows you Google application icons, and starting from the left, it includes Sheets, Docs, Slides, Photos, Chrome, and Gmail. Signing into your Google account allows you to access all the products you'll learn about today. You only have to sign in once to be able to access Google Sheets, Docs, Slides, Photos, Forms, Gmails, and a lot of other applications. After you have signed into your Google account, you can use the Google Apps menu to move between applications. At the top right, you can select on Google Apps, which is circled here. From here, you can access all the Google applications that come with your account. You can get Gmail, Sheets, and Slides here. Keep in mind the most recent apps will appear first. And then you can access Google Drive, which is circled here. Let's take a look at Google Drive first. Google Drive allows you to store, access, and share files like documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, and photos all in one place. Instead of being stored on your computer, Google Drive allows you to save your files in the cloud. The cloud is a safe, private place on the internet where you can store your documents and files. After you save something on Google Drive, you can access it from any computer, smartphone, or tablet with internet access. Files stored on Google Drive won't get lost even if your computer crashes. And the files you create with Google Apps are automatically saved in Google Drive. You don't have to remember to click Save. If you've never created anything with Google Apps before, your Google Drive will be empty. Once you start creating files in Google Apps, You will see them stored here. And if you have a computer, tablet, or smartphone, feel free to try to follow along if you wish. You can pause this workshop at any time and it will be automatically starting where you left off. And you can access a replay by clicking on demand on the Grow with Google on Air website. You can get back here by visiting g.co/growonair. Now let's dive into our example projects. The first project we will create today is a to-do list sheet to track tasks for our big virtual event. Feel free to work along with me or just watch as I show you ways you can use Google Sheets to organize an event. The first step in planning any major event or just planning to get on top of the virtual work that you have to build is building a list of everything that needs to get done, whether by you or by somebody else. While you can create a new blank sheet for this work, Google Drive offers a library of great time-saving templates. A template provides basic information and formatting and keeps you from having to start from scratch every time you create a sheet or other project. Google Sheets has a template that will fit our to-do list nicely, and it's actually called To-Do List. To work on this list, select New, circled here on the top left to open the menu, then select the arrow next to Google Sheets. And from a template, you would click on the template to open the template gallery with a lot of templates that you can work with for home or for work. And then you would open the to-do list. And then you can click on the title to give your sheet a new name. And then you can rename it. In this example, we have renamed it to Yard Sale To-Do List. Or you can create a similar name that describes the event or project you're working with. This becomes the file name and is the way you will find the file on Google Drive. Notice that as soon as you open this sheet template, it is saved automatically on your Google Drive. In fact, any work you do in your sheet is saved automatically, and you never have to click on Save. So notice that this template may look a little bit different from a blank spreadsheet, but it still has the same elements. The image on the slide shows a to-do list with a column for tasks. 3 tasks are listed. Sheets contain many rectangles called cells. Cells are organized into rows and columns. Every cell has a name based on its column and row. For example, this cell is called A1 because it is a column A and row 1. And you can navigate the sheet by clicking in different cells, or you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move around the grid. You can add text, formatting, formulas, and functions to cells because you're using a template specifically designed for a to-do list. There is already some formatting here. There are columns for check marks to indicate if a task is complete and for the deadline date for that task. And there's a space for a description of the task itself. To use this template, replace the task with the things you need to do for your event, project, or work. Feel free to copy what you see on this screen. As an example, you can see on the right shows a user modifying the text in a template. They add the text in the 3rd column to describe the task of finding a location for a meeting. Then they add a date in the column B. Notice that when you click into a sheet cell and start typing, you will replace the text that was already there. If you're experimenting, type 2 or 3 tasks that are related to an event you might be planning. Then add a few dates. If you're practicing along, they don't have to be real. While you build this project for your team, verify that you have the correct dates and the deadlines are reasonable. If you have hard deadlines, like an already scheduled event, make sure you include those and that they are accurate. Now, let's say you want to collaborate with several people and divide up the responsibilities to get your event going. You can add another column titled Owner and write a name in each row for each task. To do this, click on column C as shown here, and then open the Insert menu where you can click on Insert and then click the columns and one column to the right. So this will add a new column that you can see here, column D. Now click inside the cell D1 and type a title to give the column a heading like Owner. And then you'll add a few names in the rows below. So adding a column for task owners turns this into a team to-do list. Now let's talk about changing the way your sheet looks by changing the color, the font, and other styles of your sheet. You can change the format of this template to reflect your own style or something about the event. For example, if it's a party for your favorite sports team, you can change this green to your team colors. Or if it's a meeting at work, you can change it to your brand colors. To change the colors in a sheet, click on a cell or group of cells and click on the fill icon, circled here. And then a drop-down list will open up where you can see all the different colors that you can pick from. And now you can choose one of these colors from the drop-down list. And you can see that the color was changed. So additionally, you can adjust the font size, the style or color by selecting a cell or a group of cells and selecting new font settings. Okay, so you now have a sheet with some tasks and owners, and maybe you use some formatting to make your to-do list easier to read. Let's think again about how else you can apply this application to everyday tasks, from carpooling schedules to family appointments to simple shopping lists. Google Sheets can be used for anything you need to organize. You can find other templates in the template gallery to help you start pretty much any type of project that you need. Your sheet is automatically saved on your Google Drive, which should be still open in another tab on your Chrome browser. And then you click the browser tab icon to access the application. And here it is. This image shows a user's Google Drive containing the sample to-do list that we just created. Now, remember the list of owners you created in your to-do list? Imagine that you're going to ask all those people to attend a virtual meeting and help you plan this event. One way to have a useful and productive meeting is to keep notes during your discussion. Using Google Docs, you can create and share meeting notes and even collaborate in the same document from anywhere, all at the same time. So just like we did with Google Sheet, we are going to start off with a template to help with some of the overall design and basic elements. Select on New and then Docs. And then from this template, this will open up the Google Template Gallery. And just as you saw with Sheets, there are a lot of document templates from which you can choose from. So open up the meeting note templates you want to use. And here's a fun tip for those of you who are signed into your Google account on Chrome. If you want to open a blank document right away from your Chrome browser, just type in docs.new, and that's docs.new into your address bar. Once again, your template opens in a new tab and automatically saves into your Google Drive. The image on the slideshow here is a meeting notes template. The template includes headings for attendees, agendas, and the notes. All the templates for this style of document have the same basic information: meeting date, list of attendees, agenda, notes, action items, and items for the next meeting. Click the placeholder text under the last meeting follow-up and type something there, like a reminder about a task that's in progress. Similar to the formatting you just completed on Google Sheets, you can format this document however you want. You can select the text and you can change the font size, the styles, and the colors. And then you would choose the font sizes, the styles, or color from the menu here, circled here. Additionally, you can add comments to the documents to make notes about things without changing the text. For example, you might want to quickly add a comment about what to add to the meeting agenda, but actually write the agenda later. Or you can add a reminder and ask your coworker a question during the meeting. To leave a comment, select the text in the document. You can select one word, a sentence, or even just a character, and click on the plus button on the side of the page, or open the insert menu and choose comment. In the box that appears, type the comment. So as you can see here in this image, it shows the meeting notes template with text selected to show how this works. A user has selected the plus icon and added a comment about the budget. Here's a great trick that makes collaboration much easier. If you can add a comment for somebody else, you can type the plus sign and then their email address, and Google Docs will send an email to that person with your comment and a link to the document. So if I want to add my coworker and ask them to fill in the agenda before the meeting, I can add a comment, add a plus sign, and their email address. If you want, you can choose to assign the comment to your teammate so they see it as an action item. When you assign a comment to a person, they will be responsible for resolving it. Once you decide whether or not to assign the comment, select comment to add it to the document. So this image shows a user assigning the comment. They type in the plus icon to add the coworker's email address, and they select assign to before adding the comment. If your teammates don't yet have access to the document, Google Docs prompts you to choose what kind of access they should have. Let's talk about different ways to share access to a digital file in Google Workspace. One of the most useful features of Google Docs and many other Google applications is the ability to collaborate in the same document at the same time. In the past, sharing documents meant saving a version, emailing it to somebody else. They had to download it, make changes to it, save it as a different file name, and send it back to you. And then you would have to download it again, resave it, and so on. That's a lot of steps to edit the same document. Not only is this inefficient for getting things done, it's a process that increases the chances that at some point, somebody will begin making changes to the wrong version of a file. Thankfully, with Google Docs, You can collaborate on projects with anyone, anywhere, and at the same time by just making the change. Google Docs will save changes you make automatically, and because there's only one version of the document, you never need to worry about working on the wrong one. You can choose which documents you share with people, and you can control how much access they have. By controlling the sharing settings, you can give different members of your team access to the documents they need. If you add someone to a comment, you'll be prompted to give them access to the document if they don't yet have it. Another way to grant access is to share the document with someone directly. Select Share in the upper right corner. Type that person's email address in the box. If you want to try it out today, you can use your own email address to practice. Next, you can choose what the person can do with your project. For example, if you click on Can Edit, this allows the person to edit the document directly. If someone is adding information into the document, they'll need edit access. Can Comment is the feature allowing people to add comments to the document, but cannot change anything directly in the document. For example, you might want an event planner to review the information in the invite and add comments about anything that is missing or inaccurate. The next option is Can View, and this access allows the person to see the document but cannot make any alterations at all. This could be a person who isn't heavily involved in planning the event, but you want to keep them informed. Notice the box at the bottom labeled Notify People. When you share a document, sheet, or presentation with someone, they will receive an email about it. If you do not wish to send an email, uncheck this box. If you're practicing by sending this to your own email address, leave this box checked for now so you can see what it looks like. Next, you can add a note about the document and click Send. The next time the person checks their Gmail, they will have an email from Google Docs that includes your note and links to access the document. So you can better understand how this works, the image here on the right shows a share dialog box that contains a user's options for collaborating in a digital document. One text box displays a colleague's email address. One shows a field for adding a note. A drop-down menu shows Can Edit, Can Comment, and Can View to demonstrate the different levels of access shown in this image. Here's the cool part. When you store files in Google Drive, you give access to different files to different people. Maybe you want everyone who's helping you with planning to see the meeting agenda. That's the path I'm showing you on the left side of your screen. But maybe you also have a budget file and you only want one other person to have access to that. That's the path on the right side of the screen. And more good news is you can give different people different levels of access to the file. People can either have access to edit a file, comment on the file without editing, or to just view it without the ability to comment or make changes. You can also give people access to a complete folder and store a group of files in that folder. In that situation, everyone who has access to the folder will also have access to the files within that folder. And yes, you can give access to people outside of your owner's list. That makes this perfect for sharing information with a vendor that you've hired to provide a service or a party guest requesting details about the event. Now, imagine that you have planned your virtual event using a to-do list and collaborated with your team to make an agenda for the event. Next, You might need a way of communicating effectively with a large group of people. For example, if you're planning this big summit for your entire organization, you might want to give everyone an update on your progress. Or if you're pitching new business to a possible investor, you might want to plan out what to say during your presentation. For these situations and for plenty of others in the workplace, you can build a presentation in Google Slides. Even if your event is just a small team meeting, using a slide deck can keep everyone on track, on pace, and engaged. Now, let's take a look at how to use a presentation to share your progress or ideas at work. You can start from a blank slide deck, or you guessed it, Google Slides offers several templates for common purposes. As with our other projects, we are going to start off with a template to help with some of the overall design and basic elements. From drive.google.com, click New, Google Slides, and From a Template. This opens the Google Slides template gallery for you to see the different options. So you can find the options for all kinds of presentations you want to give, like presenting your research at a professional conference, delivering a sales pitch, or leading a workshop. Open the template you want to use. We'll start with a status report template and build an example project for updating an organization on all the work you've gotten done from home. Once again, your template opens in a new tab and automatically saves to your Google Drive. As you can see here, this template has built-in categories designed to update a stakeholder on deadlines, road bumps, and your team's accomplishments. Different templates include different categories, slide layouts, colors, and design. Let's start customizing your slide by creating a title slide, as shown here. This image shows a status report presentation template, and the user changes the placeholder text box so that it says status report, new marketing campaign, and then they move the text box. You can edit the text on the slide to examine the purpose of a presentation. You can also move text boxes or shapes. Click the placeholder text and type something there, like the title of one of your current projects. Every template includes pre-designed layouts. Layouts include pre-arranged text boxes and formatting, and slides make suggestions for how to use each layout. You can select different layouts to present different information, like a main point, important data, or a caption. Add a new slide. And then you would select a new layout that helps you present the information you need to share with your team or business partners. For this example, we'll choose the big number layout. As you build out your presentation, you may want to include non-photo visual images. Adding illustrations and videos keeps the presentation interesting and helps you grab the audience's attention. You might use photos to introduce your team to the audience, or you can link a chart or a graph from a Google Sheet to show progress or explain a budget. To add these elements, you can access the Insert menu. Choose the kind of visual element you want to use. And then you can add a visual like a photo or a video directly from your Google Drive, or you can search from the web to find an image that suits your presentation. Make sure you have the right to use the image. When you search for an image directly from the slide applications, the images returned in your search will automatically be free to use. And this shows how the image will appear on your slide. At this point, you've built a slide deck to support your presentation. You've selected layouts, customized the text, and added charts, images, or other visuals to enhance it. Now, we're at the point where you can share the presentation. You might want to share the slide deck with your team to get input, or you can make it available to everyone who will be in the audience. You can even embed the presentation on a web page. To access these settings, use the share icon, just like you did from Google Docs or Sheets. And it's on the top right. You type in your colleague's email address and you decide what kind of access to give them. And you could get the sharing link to add to other files or documents. Now let's take a look at what we've learned before we go and wrap up today. We're almost out of time today, but I hope you're feeling more comfortable with sheets and documents now. In this short period of time, we examined opening your Google Drive, creating a to-do list from a template, adding tasks, dates, and owners to the sheet, and adding formatting to your sheet. We also opened a Google Docs template for a meeting agenda and notes. You saw how to change the placeholder text in the template, customize the colors, add comments, and share your projects. Finally, we built a status update presentation using Google Slides. You saw how a template can make your slide deck look polished and professional. And we looked at how to customize layouts for your unique presentation. Google Docs and Google Sheets can get you started with useful projects in your professional and personal lives. For example, you can build resumes using a template in Google Docs, or you might even design a budget in Sheets. Google also offers several other applications you may want to explore. The slide here shows app icons for Forms, Sites, Calendar, and Google Meet in this image. After the workshop, make sure to check out Forms to help create surveys, collect feedback from others, Calendar to create appointments and book meetings, Google Meet to video conference and meet with people virtually, or Sites to create your own website for a business or to share your work portfolio. Remember, you can access these and more apps by going to google.com and clicking on the apps icon on the top right. We have barely scratched the surface of all the features that Google applications offer. I hope you've been thinking of ways you can use these digital tools in your personal life as well as your workplace. Take one moment and think about all the topics we covered today. Can you write down at least one thing that you will do next, the start of an action plan? If you'd like to share, you can share it with each other and be able to use those actions right away. And if you enjoy these video lessons, subscribe to the Grow with Google YouTube channel at youtube.com/growwithgoogle. The channel publishes a new video every Thursday covering topics that can help you grow your skills, careers, and businesses. If you're looking to start a new career and land a competitively paid job or build skills to grow in your career, check out Google Career Certificates. Google Career Certificates can give you a path to in-demand jobs with top employers who are currently hiring. You can earn a certificate and prepare for a new career in a high-growth field in under 6 months, even if you don't have relevant experience. Learn at your own pace and complete these online programs on your own terms. Some certificates available include IT support, project management, UX design, data analytics, and digital marketing and e-commerce. Get started at grow.google/certificates. Also, US businesses can get up to 500 scholarships each to Google Career Certificates to train your employees. These scholarships are worth up to $100,000 in workforce training per American company. And here's the fine print. US businesses are eligible to receive up to 500 scholarships for Google Career Certificates on Coursera, valid through December 18, 2024. Eligibility and number of license granted, subject to application, business verification, and approval. And the businesses can apply at grow.google/certificates for business. Grow with Google is an initiative to help people prepare for work, find jobs, and grow their businesses. Job seekers can grow their skills in order to find jobs and advance their careers. Teachers can learn how to put the latest technology to work inside and outside the classroom. Small business owners can build their online presence and find new customers. Startups can learn how to get their ideas and exposure they need. Developers can sharpen their skills and master new ones. To learn more, visit google.com/grow. And here are all the resources we mentioned in today's presentation. Check out these websites for more in-depth information on what I covered today. Thank you so much.